Okay, so welcome to Eikei University. I'm switching to English mode, and you will be able to indicate when you're not understanding my English and wanting to slow me down. And consider this lecture as an introductory one when you enter the first class of my class, Introduction to International Cooperation, which is offered to the second and third year Eikei students in this university. And it can be offered in English or in Japanese. All right, so what I'm talking about is international cooperation. And it has changed a lot for us in the international cooperation. And why, I'm going to explain. And then the suggestion for the future is to be done by you as a participant of today's class. We will do a little bit of the group work at the end of the class. Okay? So let's dive into the international cooperation world. This is how I have worked in Pakistan as a development worker. I have been working in the field of international development for the last 20 years. And it was such a great joy to be there. But when I say the international cooperation, people understand quite differently. Our official cooperation is different from unofficial cooperation. The public and private corporations are different from each other. Non-profit cooperation is also another sector that we have the cooperation going on, but at the same time, it may not create any profit for you, just as the private corporation often does. There's also the development cooperation, 開発援助, we say it in Japanese, which is a lot of work that I have done in my past. For example, the rich country can support the poor country in order to have better life at the poorer countries. That's one kind of cooperation. Another cooperation is rich countries cooperating with another rich countries in order to reduce the emission of CO2 for the climate action. The poor country can partner with another poor country to grow together by sharing lessons learned. So it cannot be just only one type of cooperation between the North and the South countries. But what had happened in 2020 is the coronavirus pandemic. The objective of development cooperation, which is a large part of the international cooperation, is actually not only the cooperation between two countries, rich and poor. When we do the development cooperation, we're asking for some basic rules. And one of the basic rules is that we have to support the national or international development priorities. And international development priorities are something that you just have seen. But this is what had happened at the end of the day with the COVID-19. There were international cooperation to develop a good vaccines in a very rapid manner. But what had happened was a market failure. I was in Ghana until 2018. In that country, we are only vaccinating about 10% of the population right now, including the medical professionals. Why? Because there are lots of challenges. This is a country with not so stable electricity. That means deep freezers that need to keep vaccines valid at the 70 below zero. That is not functioning in that country particularly. And that is one of the reasons why we can't just send the vaccines that were not used in the north to the countries that doesn't have the infrastructure to distribute. International cooperation, as I said, we have a lot of people working on it. International organization is one thing. JICA, Japan International Cooperation Agency, is our bilateral developmental organization that helps the other countries. That's actually my former colleagues from Ghana. But are we coordinating? Probably not. Are we strategic to make the best use of those international cooperation funding? Probably not, because the priorities are not well set nor well coordinated. And as I said, now that we can't travel to other countries that easily because of the COVID-19, we have to rely on the implementers at the country level because we just can't be there by ourselves. But when we are relying on other people to understand what the problem is and then to act on it, we still have the challenge of the capacities. And just to show what has happened at my personal level, me as a development worker, I have seen the huge difference in international cooperation. I was with lots of different people in international meeting. I was able to relate to those participants so much more easily because we were in the same meeting, eating same food, discussing in between the meetings, so that we can't have much of the imagination or the creativity to kick in. Now, towards a better partnership, we're struggling. I don't know how it's going to be. The style of the international cooperation will be in the next couple of years to the next decade. SDGs are reminding us that we still have so much to do, but the COVID-19 has wiped out some of the development gains already made in the last decade. Address global challenges while we have to address another challenges. Attaining SDGs, or at least reversing the negative trend happened in the COVID-19, will be a challenge because we are now in the minus section rather than the flat 0 point. In order to maintain good international cooperation, we have to have 3 points to go along. We have to have the people in developed countries, just like you, remain engaged in international issues when everyone is struggling to make ends meet for the day. Okay? We will not be leaving no one behind, so that believing in no one is safe until everyone is safe has to be in the mind of us. And we just have to overcome the economic challenge posed by the global pandemic together, and not to be the benefit of the rich countries only. So this is a very, very quick introduction of what is happening in the international cooperation world in the year 2020 to 2021. Now that you are the future of our country and our globe, I would like you to have a short exercise or the group work within your group of 5 or a group of 6 to do some work here. What can you, as a Japanese high school students, what can you do in order to make people in Japan interested in global issues under the COVID-19 pandemic? Can you discuss 5 minutes within yourselves and then write to pink and the yellow? Use pink post-it to indicate what you can do to make everyone engaged in Japan on the global issue. Yellow ones, you should use it to indicate what you must or you should do in Japan. Today you will be able to discuss it in Japanese, write it down in Japanese, and then put them on the whiteboard here. The last word I would like to give you before ending this mock class: interests are seeds of passion. Please be curious, please be caring, and please act if you can. Thank you very much and hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.